Once upon a time, a city named Square Park, where the hills met a serene river, a small, ivy-covered school stood at the center of life and learning. It was here that the remarkable love story of Cynthia and her schoolteacher, Mr. Chris, unfolded, a tale woven with longing, defiance, and destiny. Cynthia was a spirited girl with a heart full of dreams and an insatiable thirst for knowledge. She was the daughter of a single mother who worked tirelessly as a seamstress to provide for her education. For Cynthia, school wasn't just a place to learn. It was a haven where her mind could escape the confines of poverty. She excelled in her studies, earning admiration from teachers and peers alike. Yet, despite her brilliance, she often felt like an outsider. Square Park was a town bound by tradition, and Cynthia's humble background made her the subject of whispers and sidelong glances. Mr. Chris was the newly appointed literature teacher at Riverview Academy. In his early 30s, he was a man of quiet charm, with kind eyes that held the weight of untold stories. His teaching methods were unconventional. He encouraged his students to think critically, to question, and to express their ideas freely. From the moment Cynthia entered his classroom, she was captivated. Literature had always been her favorite subject, but under Mr. Chris's guidance, it became a window to a world she had only dreamed of. Over time, Cynthia and Mr. Chris developed a connection that went beyond the usual teacher-student dynamic. It began innocently enough. He noticed her talent for writing and encouraged her to share her poetry during class. He lent her books from his personal collection, works by authors who spoke of love, freedom, and the power of the human spirit. Their conversations often extended beyond class hours. Mr. Chris recognized a kindred spirit in Cynthia, a young woman determined to rise above her circumstances. He admired her resilience and intellect, while she admired his wisdom and compassion. But admiration soon turned into something deeper. Cynthia began to feel a pull toward Mr. Chris, a feeling she couldn't ignore. She found herself hanging on to his every word, her heart quickening whenever their eyes met. One rainy afternoon, Cynthia lingered in the classroom after the other students had left. Gathering her courage, she approached Mr. Chris. "Sir," she began hesitantly, I don't know how to say this, but I need to tell you how I feel. I admire you, not just as a teacher, but as a person." Mr. Chris's expression softened, but he remained composed. "Cynthia, you are a remarkable young woman, and I am honored by your words. But this is a delicate situation. As your teacher, I have a responsibility to guide you, not to overstep boundaries." His response was gentle yet firm, and Cynthia left the classroom with tears in her eyes. She knew he was right, but her feelings didn't waver. Soon after Cynthia graduated, fate intervened in a way neither of them could have foreseen. A tragic fire destroyed Cynthia's home, leaving her and her mother homeless. The townspeople rallied to help, and Mr. Chris was among them. He offered them temporary shelter in his modest home until they could rebuild. During this time, Cynthia and Mr. Chris grew closer. Freed from the constraints of their former roles, they began to see each other as equals. They spent evenings discussing books and dreams, and their bond deepened into love. When their relationship became public knowledge, Riverview was thrown into an uproar. Gossip spread like wildfire, with many condemning their love as improper. Cynthia's mother, though initially hesitant, defended their relationship, insisting that love knew no boundaries of age or status. Mr. Chris, however, faced intense scrutiny from the school board and the community. He was suspended from his teaching position and threatened with expulsion from the town. Despite the opposition, Cynthia and Mr. Chris refused to let go of their love. They stood together, weathering the storm of judgment and hostility. Cynthia wrote a heartfelt letter to the local newspaper, describing their relationship not as a scandal, but as a story of mutual respect, understanding, and love that had grown in the face of adversity. The months following Cynthia's letter to the local newspaper were tumultuous. Though some townsfolk rallied to support their relationship, others doubled down on their opposition. The older generation, steeped in tradition, viewed their union as a threat to moral order. Mr. Chris faced relentless pressure from the school board to resign permanently. During one heated town hall meeting, an elder declared, "How can we trust a man who blurred the line between teacher and student? He has no place in our children's future." Meanwhile, Cynthia's mother received threats and warnings. "Teach your daughter her place," one letter read, "or there will be consequences." But despite these challenges, her mother stood firm, protecting Cynthia with a ferocity that surprised even her daughter. Cynthia's resilience grew in the face of adversity. She began documenting the unfair treatment they endured, penning articles that gained traction in nearby towns, and eventually reached the city's major newspapers. Suddenly, their story became a topic of national debate, dividing opinions across the country. Just as things began to stabilize, Cynthia and Chris faced an unexpected betrayal. One of Chris's closest colleagues at Riverview Academy, a fellow teacher named Mr. Elijah, secretly harbored feelings for Cynthia. When she rejected his subtle advances, he sought revenge. Mr. Elijah spread rumors that Chris had pursued Cynthia while she was still his student and had manipulated her into the relationship. His lies were so convincing that even some of their supporters began to doubt them. The school board reopened its investigation, and Chris's suspension turned into termination. The stress took a toll on Cynthia and Chris's relationship, with doubts and insecurities creeping in during their quiet moments together. "Chris," Cynthia whispered one night, tears streaming down her face, "maybe I've ruined your life. Maybe we should have walked away." Chris took her hands firmly. "No, Cynthia. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. We will face this together." In the depths of despair, help arrived from an unexpected source. A retired judge, who had read Cynthia's articles and been moved by her courage, offered his legal expertise. He began to investigate the allegations against Chris and uncovered inconsistencies in Mr. Elijah's claims. The truth came to light during a dramatic town hearing. Witnesses testified to Chris's integrity and to the malicious intent behind Elijah's actions. When confronted with evidence of his deceit, Elijah crumbled, confessing to his lies in front of the entire town. The courtroom erupted in murmurs as the judge declared, "This man's character has been unjustly attacked. Let this serve as a lesson. Love is not a crime, and integrity cannot be tarnished by falsehoods." With their names cleared, Cynthia and Chris's relationship gained newfound respect in Riverview. They were no longer just lovers fighting against prejudice. They had become symbols of resilience and truth. Their wedding was a quiet yet poignant affair by the riverbank, where they exchanged vows surrounded by family and a few trusted friends. Chris, in a voice trembling with emotion, said, "Cynthia, you taught me to believe in love even when the world doubted us. I promise to stand by you, no matter the storms we face." Cynthia, her eyes shining, replied, "Chris, you showed me that love is not just about passion, but about partnership. Together, we are unbreakable." The couple's journey didn't end with their marriage. They used their shared experiences to create change. They established a foundation that provided scholarships for underprivileged students, ensuring that no child in Riverview, or beyond, would feel limited by their circumstances. Cynthia's writing flourished, and her novels often drew from her own experiences, exploring themes of forbidden love, courage, and redemption. Chris became a sought-after speaker, advocating for fair treatment in education and dismantling stigmas surrounding unconventional relationships. Their story inspired plays, songs, and even a film, turning them into legends in their lifetime. Riverview, once divided by their love, grew to embrace their legacy as a symbol of hope and progress. Decades later, Cynthia and Chris, now elderly, stood hand in hand by the riverbank where they had married. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the water. "Do you regret it?" Cynthia asked softly, her voice filled with the wisdom of years. Chris smiled, his grip tightening around hers. "Not for a single moment. Loving you has been the greatest journey of my life." And so, their story became a cherished folktale, told by generations in Square Park. It was a reminder that love, though fraught with challenges, has the power to defy conventions, heal wounds, and inspire change in even the most resistant hearts. Their love, born in adversity and sustained by unwavering commitment, was proof that some bonds are truly unbreakable.